All right, hello from Indy. I just thought I'd do a video. I've been kind of thinking about something lately. I've seen quite a few videos on the subject, and I just want to give my 2 cents on affordable muscle cars. I like to watch Uncle Tony, and he, from time to time, will do a video with his friend Kiwi, I think. And somebody bring a car in the Kiwi shop that they've bought, and then they find out it's a piece of junk. And it's people that flip them have had their hands on it. And I always hate to see that happen, especially somebody buying a muscle car for the first time and they buy one somebody's just flipped. There's a real hazard with it. So I wanted to go over my thoughts on some affordable muscle cars that a guy can get, can enjoy, and the risk of buying them is much, much lower. Of course, first thing is, you don't have to have a Roadrunner. You don't have to have a CUDA. You don't have to have a Super Bee. I've got a Satellite. You have to remember, in 71 and 72, you know, the numbers of Satellites, it was a very popular car when it was new. But people weren't buying the Roadrunners. They were buying the Satellites and the Satellite Sebrings. And it was just a way to beat the insurance money. The Roadrunner was a kid car. It was a stripped-down, basic kid car. But, you know, you could get a GTX, you could get a Satellite, you could do the same thing, and it was a muscle car. A lot of us that are older, back when you could get muscle cars affordably, didn't even buy them back then. Back when I was in school, I had a 71 Roadrunner, and that was my first car. I hardly ever drove the thing. But I had a Dodge Coronet, a 70 Coronet, that was my daily driver, and my winter car was a 71 Chrysler Newport. The Newport, you know, was a big block car. And I had more fun in that Newport than any car I've probably ever had. It was a huge car. People I run into all these years later remember me for that car. And, you know, it was unstoppable, never got stuck. It was good and warm in the winter. So it was a great car. So anyway, what I'm saying is there's a lot of fun cars out there. And there's two things that are not going to be a fun car. Is if you buy something you think's nice and it turns into, you've bought a lemon, really. And then the other one is, a lot of these restored cars, you know, guys don't enjoy them. They're worried about them all the time. You know, this car right here, you know, I get the engine, all that back in, get it back on the road this summer. I'm pretty close to being done. I'll probably do the interior. I don't really think I'm ever going to repaint it. And I'll tell you why. Because I can take it out and I can enjoy it, and I don't have to worry about it. I can do that. And I don't care. I can sit on the car and not worry about it. I can put boxes on here. I can go to a car show and a little kid can come over here and drip ice cream all over it. I don't care, right? So you get these cars, you spent $20,000 or $30,000 on a paint job, and you don't enjoy it, and you're uptight about the stupid thing all the time anyway. That's not the car hobby. That's just, you know, I guess if that's your thing, fine. But it's not for me, right? I want a car that I can enjoy and not worry about. And if it gets a ding, oh, well, I'll just fix it, okay? So anyway, I'm just rambling there. But I do want to talk about some cars that I think are affordable muscle cars. First of all, if you just have to have a vintage classic car, I kind of hinted on that just a minute ago, a C-body. You can still find really nice Chrysler C-bodies, old Imperials and Newports. If you're patient, I always tell people this, there's people that buy these cars and they mark them way up for the guy that's not patient. He's impatient, got to have it today. You're going to pay twice as much for it. I know of right now a gorgeous Chrysler Newport. It's a 1971 in just beautiful condition, unbelievable condition, big block for $7,000. And I'm really thinking, and I'm not going to tell you where it's at because I'm thinking about buying it for myself if I can figure out where to put it. And that'll be my daily driver in the summer. And so you should be able to find you one for $10,000 or less, a nice one for $10,000 or less. Now, if you don't just have to have a classic car, there are some modern muscle cars, in my opinion. And one of those is a police Crown Victoria. Those are muscle cars, but they're kind of beat up a little bit. But there's alternatives, I should say, that are even better. You can find them in fantastic condition, very low miles, and those are the Mercury Grand Marquis and the Lincoln Town Car. Those are V8 rear-wheel drive cars, man. They're sleepers. And you can modify them if you need more juice. And I would really like to find, I'm thinking about that Newport, but I would really like to find a really nice Mercury Grand Marquis or a Lincoln Town Car with 50,000 miles or less. And it's a Southern car, so I'm going to go down south somewhere and find one that's rust-free. And I'm not buying it to drive. I'm buying it to put it in the garage and have 2 muscle cars, okay? And so that's another alternative you could use. It's a classic. They're going to be valuable cars. The last one is, if you really want a muscle car, I'm going to tell you a great deal going on muscle cars right now. And they're even making them still. So you know you're going to be able to find them in parts. And that is the Dodge Charger Hemi police cars. Man, them things, they're the real deal. Those are muscle cars. Yeah, they got 4 doors, who cares, right? They've got all the heavy-duty equipment, cooling, the brakes, everything you need. And I looked at a nice one the other day for about 10. It wasn't real high miles, very well maintained. It was a state police car. So again, I would do the same thing. If I really wanted to buy one, I would probably go south, or if I could really check one out. In Indiana, there's 2 worlds. There's Indianapolis North and Indianapolis South. Indianapolis North is the Salt Belt, and cars are destroyed. But you get in southern Indiana, you can find nice rust-free cars. So I would want to find a state police car specifically from southern Indiana. And that's easy to do. You just figure out what post it was at, and you can actually probably get the maintenance records for it. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. Guys, there are some nice, cool cars to be had. If you want performance, what more could you want than a Dodge Charger? You can modify the thing. It would be a cool car. And think about, really, in 20 years from now, where are all the Dodge Diplomats? What happened to all of them, right? They're gone. So these Hemi Chargers will be a really cool car to have in 20 or 30 years. And they perform. There's no doubt about it. They can haul the mail. So anyway, I know I'm kind of rambling and going on, but I want you guys to know there's some alternatives out there other than the high-dollar cars that are just ripping people off. Last thing I'll say, then I'll shut up here, is with the current hobby right now, and I hope this catches on, what I'm about ready to say. This car right here, as this sits, should be the most valuable muscle cars on the market. It is an original car. It's not been modified. It's not been repainted and bondoed and all that stuff. It's just an old car from Texas. And you know what the bones are, and you know what you're getting. And yeah, you know, it needs painted. The interior could be upgraded, but you can drive and enjoy it as it is. I would rather, to me, this car with the rebuilt engine and all the work I've done on it is worth a lot more money than a restored car that you have no idea what you're getting. Because remember this, if you go buy a $60,000 muscle car and then you find out it's full of rot and mud and junk, what's that $20,000 or $30,000 paint job worth? Because it has to come off to uncover the junky car you bought. So you have essentially bought a rusted junkyard car that has lipstick on it for way too much money. That's not worth anything. And I feel so sorry for people that happens to. Don't do it. You want the best chance you have right now? Go get you a new Lincoln. Go get you a new Mercury. All right? They're out there. You can go buy them. There's a lady that lives across the street from me, just down the road, that has a Mercury that wants to sell it. She's got 60,000 miles on it. It's a gorgeous car. She bought it brand new. It's a V8. I used to have one. It'd cruise in the interstate at 85 miles an hour. If I wanted to hot rod it up, you can do that. What a great car that would be for somebody. Rust-free, solid, needs nothing. What can you beat with that, right? So what I'm saying is, you don't have to have the high-dollar stuff. It wasn't always that cool even when they're new. You know, it's like I tell people, those Superbirds, nobody wanted them. You couldn't give them away. And now everybody oogles over them. They don't mean anything to me. So find you a cool, solid car. Find you the best you can. You don't have to have a Cuda. You don't have to have a Roadrunner. You don't have to have a Z28 Camaro, a 69. There's lots of better stuff out there. And if you just have to have a cool Challenger or a cool Charger, go buy a brand new one, man. Save yourself the headache. Or the last alternative is, and then I'll get off here, The last alternative is you pony up and you pay for a $100,000 restoration from a very reputable shop that has all the photos, the histories, the receipts. Those are your choices to buy a solid car without getting burnt. That's just my thoughts. Later.